Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Album Spotlight, the show where I put the spotlight on a new album in progressive rock that I'm really excited about, one that I think you guys will enjoy if you have similar tastes in music as me. And I have a really good one for you guys today, an album that's coming out May 16th by a band that I've followed and have really loved since the beginning of their career. This is Magic Pie and their latest album, Maestro. This is a Norwegian progressive rock band that formed in 2001. Their first album came out in 2005 called Motions of Desire. Then they had Circus of Life in 2007. 2011 was an important album because it was when they got their lead singer, Eriker Hoxen, who's a big part of the band now, The Suffering Joy in 2011. And then they subsequently released King for a Day in 2015, Fragments of the Fifth Element in 2019, and now they're back after a 6-year gap with Maestro, a fantastic record that showcases everything that's strong about this band. When I think about Magic Pie, I think of a band that has a big classic rock influence and like 70s hard rock. You hear a lot of like the Deep Purple and Rainbow and, you know, these like 70s hard rock, classic rock bands that are very prominent from that era. But you get a bit of sprinkling of some progressiveness on top of it, some Yes styles, Genesis, all of the classic prog bands, as well as they always have kind of expansive, bigger, epic tracks as well on the album. So you get a blend of those things, and I think it blends fantastically well. And I just really love the record. It's just fun music. And that's what I'm always looking for, is music that's fun to listen to, that I can put on while I'm driving, while I'm doing any sort of other stuff to keep things light and fun as I'm going about my day. And it brings me back to like the classic 70s rock that I really loved growing up with, that my dad showed me, and that has a lot of fun to it as well. They bring to mind a bit of kind of that Spock Spear, Neil Morse style energy as well to their compositions, especially in the epic. I can hear a lot of influence from that sort of place. So if you're a big fan of Spock Spear, I think Magic Pie is kind of a logical continuation of that style. But they're always throwing quirky little things into the mix that make them unique and interesting, not just your standard classic rock band or standard 70s prog act. So I just am a huge fan of everything they do, and I think this new record really shines just like everything they've ever done. And the band seemed to be really proud of it and excited in the promotion of this record as well. It was mixed by Jacob Holm-Lupo and mastered by Rich Mauser, which is somewhat notable because Rich Mauser unfortunately lost his home and studio in the fires, the LA fires that happened a few months back. So I believe this was maybe the last project that he worked on before the fires took down his studio. So, but because of that, it sounds really fantastic. Rich Mauser has a beautiful ear for what works in these style albums. You know, he's really brought to life a lot of great Neil Morse, Transatlantic, Spock Spear albums as well, and he brings that sort of flair to this record, which I think fits it like a glove. It opens and closes with 2 parts of the Opus Imperfectus epic, which is, to me, like the highlight of the whole record, obviously, since I'm a big fanatic of long epic pieces of prog music. Begins with a bit of an orchestrated sound, which I think fits that Maestro theme. Sounds like they're gearing up this big orchestra for this big sweeping piece that you're about to hear before we get into a high-powered rocking prog instrumental overture. Before this opening of Grand Majesty, we get some quirky proggy instrumentation bouncing all over the place with shifting time signatures and a supremely fun vibe. We get a great classic guitar style solo with some piano accents, and then we get into the singing part with some fun acoustic guitar strumming and very expressive vocals with a fun and lively feel. This is where I feel that Neil Morsean influence, where you do this big, grand, proggy overture before we get into the meat of the song, which is more just kind of this fun acoustic ballad, but done in an upbeat fashion. There's a section that's a little bit more slow and ballad-like with string-like backing and Eric Kerr's impassioned vocals, keyboard textures, and bluesy accents. Then we get into a harder guitar riff with a darker, bluesier swagger. Love there's kind of jazz clubby keyboard solo with some fun, fast swinging drum and bass work. Once again, very bluesy, followed by an excellent expressive guitar solo that takes its time to build, but then builds to excellent and glorious epic heights. We get this kind of return of that triumphant proggier theme from the beginning of the piece in a big reprise, leading to one of the most furious prog workouts on the entire album. Super quick playing, some glorious keyboard soloing, all very nice, leading to some more bluesiness and string accents. We get some interesting kind of darker, deeper, buried backing vocals accompanying Eric Kerr towards the end of this section, where it fades out with some keyboard twinkling before it's picked up in part 2 later, which is basically just picking back up with some really nice keyboards, pleasing vocals, and those big, excellent, uplifting vocal harmonies. Great feel, searing synth lead, epic vocals, shredding guitar soloing, leaves with a really emotive guitar solo, which builds once again and is a great ending to an epic piece of music and an epic album as a whole. And so I'll highlight the musicians here before I get into kind of those middle tracks. Eric Kerr Hodgson, like I mentioned, is doing the lead vocals here. A fantastic all-star vocalist with a great pedigree to his name. Lars Peter Holstad on bass and vocals. Martin Utby on drums, which I believe this is his first project with the band, so he's kind of the new player here. Erling Henninger on keyboards and vocals, and then Kim Stenberg on vocals and guitars. Kim Stenberg is kind of the long-standing member who's been with the band since the very outset, and he does all the main writing of the music. I believe Eric Kerr does the writing of the lyrics, but Kim Stenberg does the writing of the music by and large for this project. So fantastic lineup of musicians, and I saw them live on Cruise to the Edge, which was a blast. They did an excellent job there, and in fact they played this second track on the album called By the Smoker's Pole, which is a bit of a blues-tinged ballad. Great guitar work and a spotlight on Eric Kerr's powerful yet fragile vocals. A well-performed piece. No like flashy prog in this one, just more excellent playing, soaring guitar solo, strumming acoustic chords and swelling keyboards. Fantastic kind of lighter ballad after this big epic proggy piece that came before it. Name It to Tame It is one of their more recent singles that they released. Basically, very much a hard rock or proto-metal type song, starting off with cool riffs right off the bat. Kind of the beginning struck me as sounding similar to Neil Morse's The Conflict. If you've heard that before, it has that kind of heavier, kind of more aggressive style right at the outset, driven by cool guitar riffs and of course some backing proggy keys as well in the mix. Love the vocals here as well with some powerful harmonies in the chorus. But because it's Magic Pie and they can't just do a straightforward track, there are some cool, interesting musical diversions where the power fades away with an off-kilter kind of keyboard spotlight and these cool expressive vocals before the heavy riffage returns, and we get this kind of screaming guitar ending with some uber impressive intense drum work to close out the track. This is a really great indicator of their sound, where it has that kind of fun classic rock vibe but with plenty of prog flourishes to give it more character and more adventurous soundscapes. I love the power of the rocking pre-chorus with great vocal harmony work swirling around, great balance on this track as well. Some slowed romantic vocal sections before we get into some fun power with a kicking organ solo before it gets even proggier in the instrumentation towards the second half. And it's just a fun ride of a track, really a blast and a powerhouse of a 7.5 minute track here. Everyday Hero was their first single on the record. And it's a really straightforward kind of rock track as well, but of course the little Magic Pie inflections, you get a bit of a upbeat, jaunty vibe here. There's some unique moments with some fun vocal harmonies and almost alien-sounding keyboard effects swirling around it. But for the most part, it's about a 5-minute classic rock song that just is really fun to listen to, and a great, more straightforward track amongst some more proggier stuff around it. So that's really what you've got with this record: a really excellent, epic piece of work. especially that Opus Imperfectus song, but then you get these smattering of smaller tracks that explore more of their fun, more rocking style. And it just breezes by. It's 49 minutes long of a record, and by the time it's over, you want to press repeat and just re-listen to this fascinating blend of great musicianship and fun musical exploration. I just completely love it. This is my style prog that's more fun and more melodic and just interesting to listen to. Has some great cool vocal hooks to kind of hook you in and bring you back time and time again, but keeps your attention with these cool proggy explorations and the instrumentation. So really fun. I really recommend this one. I hope you guys enjoy it. It sounds like they have more material in the tank, and hopefully will release another album not too long from now, because they had like a whole wealth of other material to bring to the table here. So excited to know that they may have more material in the not too distant future. But for now, we've got a really fantastic record that I really enjoyed listening to and really heartily recommend. It comes out May 16th. And I hope you guys will check it out. And it's a beautiful record. So thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you like this review. I do these kinds of reviews regularly, and it's always fun to bring great new prog music to your attention. So thank you guys for joining me, and I'll catch you guys in a future episode. Bye, everybody. Enjoy the music.